Hey guys, thanks for accidentally clicking on Tablenauts. I'm Doolin, and today I have a very quick recap for you. It's okay if this is where you're joining us, but all year I've actually been posting videos like this, where I'm going through my entire collection, trying to decide if I'm going to keep or cull games, and also letting you know how much I like them. It's been a really tough challenge, but I'm actually doing incredibly well. I'm actually below 70 games left. However, I need a recap for you between 130 and 70. And so, as daunting as that sounds, I think what I'm going to start doing, hopefully weekly, is on top of whatever else Tablenauts is doing, I'm going to give you 10 board games rated and also decide if I'm going to keep or cull them. That way, I mean, the last one we did was 41, and that was such a daunting edit. Like, I'm trying to add B-roll for 41 games, and that's just nuts. So 10 at a time, and I think this is going to encourage me, like help me get, videos out faster as well. So let's get to the games. First up is actually Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, which is a game that just came out this year. And in case you don't know anything about it, it's, Gloomhaven, adjacent. It's from the same company. It plays similarly, but it is a small box solo only game. I've actually not played through Gloomhaven, but I played through all of Jaws of the Lion, and while I liked it, I wasn't super ecstatic to go back into Gloomhaven, at least not right now. And this was something that I'm really glad that I did end up playing and buying and playing. In case you have any worries or doubts about it, just know I'm going to try to do a whole video on just Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs. It's awesome. It's incredible. Cephalofair, you've done an amazing job at getting all of the fun and interesting and challenging parts of Gloomhaven, like that card play. You've taken all of that and you've added it to this incredibly small box and made it playable on, I think I've even said you could probably play this on an airplane on that tiny of a table. It would fit there. And it's a full campaign, and so I'm looking forward to actually not only playing this through once, but multiple times with all of the different characters. And Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, well made. My current rating, even though I've barely even scratched the surface of this game, is a 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to sing its praises. I'm going to try to encourage more solo players to check out Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs. Next up is a relatively family-oriented co-op game called Chronicles of Evil by Rebel Studio. And this one immediately drew me in just because of the, the art and the components and the idea of this family weight co-op game that we could get into. But I realized more and more, the more I looked at it, the more I learned it. And even after my one play of it, it was more for younger audiences and more for maybe families all together playing this. And so I actually culled this immediately. And a family that I gave it to sent me pictures. They played it. They loved it. And so if you have kids, very young kids, I think these kids that were playing it were 8 and 9. This is a D&D lite-esque co-op adventure together, and so much so that you get to design on these little boards. You can give them the ability to draw their little character out, and then the backpack is literally this inlay board, and every single piece of equipment you get, you have to find a way to squeeze into the backpack, or else you can't equip it, and that's really neat. I think that there's some really cool, well thought out and well designed parts of this game, but for me, it's just a 3.5 out of 5. I like it for what it is. It's just not for me. Next up is Witchcraft by 25th Century Games, and this is the follow-up or the redesign, because it's still, they added some new elements, but they've completely rethemed the game Resist, which was by the same company, by the same designer, and this is an easy keep. In fact, it is up there for game of the year for me. It is a 5 out of 5 perfect solo game. It's perfect for spooky season, so if you're watching this still in October, you should absolutely get it. You should take a chance on it, because while I thought Resist was basically perfect, and if you check my solo only top games of all time from last year, I had Resist I think at number 3, and Witchcraft is just it's better. The only way that I was I'd rather have the old theme. I think that the Resist theme was really, really cool. But the Witchcraft theme is really neat too. And the way that they do it and the way they implement it is just, Chef's Kiss, amazing game. So please check it out. And again, hopefully I'll have more on this video just by itself, because it's going to be up there for a long time in terms of how much I love it. Next up is Trailblazers by Bitewing Games, and this was a game that I have loved coming back to. I think last year I played it, like it was one like top 5 most played games of last year. It's such a puzzly, thinky, just card placement game where you're trying to build these routes of hiking trails, of canoe trails, and also biking trails. And the longer you have your trail, the better it is, but you have to loop it all the way back to the starting point, because any good trail is going to lead you out somewhere and then take you back home. And if you never bring them back, they don't score you any points, no matter how long they are, no matter how efficient you were. And I love that. I think that the tension in this, where it's drafting and you're noticing what other people need, and you might not necessarily need the card that you're about to draft, but you don't want them to get it, so you draft it. And it's mean, it's fun. There's race to in game and end game scoring cards, and Trailblazers is a blast. I give this a 4.5 out of 5. Next up is from AEG, and this one is one that I enjoy playing on BGA. It is also one that I enjoy playing with Emily from time to time, and that is Dog Lover. And this for me is a keep, because I remember how good Cat Lady was. With playing that with Max for the first time, I was like, I wish that it was dog themed. And then literally like that next year, they came out with Dog Lover, and it's just Cat Lady, but with a better theme to me, but also with like new implementations. Sorry. You can adopt dogs. You can, there's more powers available in Dog Lover, because you're not just taking a row, like in Cat Lady. You're actually playing these tricks that you can get better at, and the trick shows you the pattern on the cards, on the drafting board of cards that you take. Half of the fun of it is just getting the cute dogs and trying to feed them in time before the end of the game, but it's just really well done. I don't have any really negative things to say about it, other than it's not one that we're going back to time after time after time, but every once in a while Dog Lover is just a good hit, and for me it's a 4 out of 5 game. Next up is a very old game, and this is called Dutch Blitz. In fact, the company I don't think makes anything else. I think it's just Dutch Blitz Game Company. And for me, this is a keep, because Emily loves it, and because I think that it's really approachable for people who have played those classic card games and might come over and they're like, I don't really want to learn any of your crazy weird games, Doolin, but I'm willing to play an old game. And so it's a keep. It's essentially competitive solitaire, where you're trying to be faster than the other person. And I've never been like a huge fan of real-time games, but this one is good. And I gave it a 3 out of 5, which means to me it's a fine game. Like it is a slightly above average. And Dutch Blitz, I'm sure, is beloved by a lot, but it was actually, I don't think I've ever played Dutch Blitz before now, but I'm happy to own it. We're going to go back to it at some point. Next up was one given to us by Keymaster Games, and that's Parks Rollin Hikin. I've actually never played Parks yet. I'm borrowing Max's copy to finally get to it, but I've been playing my own games. I have no idea if it's any, closely, in terms of gameplay, close to Parks. I assume not, because Parks is in a Rollin, right? But you're essentially going to be hiking down this trail, and every time you get to a spot, it's going to allow you to do more things on your board. It's really well made. It's and Keymaster just does a good job with production in general, but Rollin Hikin is one that I can see Emily really, really liking. I played it solo to get it, played this month, but it was new to me, and I was like, I'm actually surprised this is as good as I think it is. For me, it's only a 3.5 out of 5 for now. The solo mode was good, but I think it's going to shine when I play it with other people. Next up is another AEG game, and this used to be one of my favorite AEG games and one of my favorite games of all time, and that's Tiny Towns. And this game, I think, is okay solo, which is the way I played it this past month. But with people, it's so funny because they're calling out blocks that you absolutely don't need, and you're like frustrated. And people in this game, you have to just kind of deal with the fact that you might have a really good run in this game where you build a lot of buildings, and you might go for things that, like I did this last round, even solo, you'll go for really big buildings, and you'll never get that block that you really, really need. And as soon as you're not able to build anything else, you're done. And that's cool. I like that a lot about this game. And I don't know, it's just a very well done game that I think you will either love or you'll hate. And for me, I love it. It's a great game, 4 out of 5. All right, we have 2 more left just for this video, and then hopefully soon, like in the next like 4 or 5 days, you'll have another one from me. But this is King of Tokyo from Yellow Games, and I actually played not only this with some people physically, but I played it quite a few times online with some of you guys in our Discord. Shout out to our Discord if you'd like to go and like talk with us about games or even play games with us. Like, we're always throwing out some game invites. King of Tokyo is just like essentially battle Yahtzee, maybe even more so than like Dice Throne is, because you only really have one attack until you start upgrading yourself. But this is fun because it's just this constant king of the hill with the other people at the table, and it's just random enough that you're not going to get really mad when you lose or when you get killed, because it's like, oh, that was sick. Like, your boss monster just beat the crap out of mine. You know, at the table, especially towards the end of the game, like everyone, even the people eliminated, at least with the, you know, like my family, will like be leaning in, and we'll be waiting like, oh, is this the dice roll that's going to like KO somebody else? And it's just great. I give it a 4 out of 5. I'm giving like these 10. A lot of them were really great. And so this is an easy keep for me as well, because it has a place. I have the, actually, I forgot to say, I have the Dark Edition, which adds in the track on the side that gives you powers as well, and that's super fun. And then lastly, for this roundup video, is Planet Unknown by Adam's Apple Games. And this one, guys, I know that some people are like a little more negative on this game than I think it deserves, at least, you know, in the circles that I'm in. But I think this game is a blast. I don't think that it is incredibly solvable. I think that there are a lot of paths, essentially, that you can take to win this game. And the variability in terms of using different companies and using different maps just makes this game so fun to go back to. And I think in person is when it shines. When you're playing around a table, there's a feeling that I get playing Planet Unknown that makes it top tier. And for me, this is a 5 out of 5. It's a great game. I have yet to really have a time playing Planet Unknown where I didn't end and immediately want to play again, or end and think this is incredible. Like, both are true. And if you ever want to play Planet Unknown on BGA, just send me an invite. It's great. I do think, however, this game is not a 10 out of 10 if you just play base game. Like, you need to add some of the variability. You need some of the, you know, the in-game scoring things that people share on the table. Like, it needs those extra things to be that as good as it can be, but all of those come in the base box. So I'm looking forward to trying the expansion once I get my hands on it. I think it hasn't delivered yet, but I didn't back it. I just need to go and get a copy whenever it arrives. But Planet Unknown, amazing. And that does it for this 10. And I don't know about you guys. I know that it's probably going to be like oversaturated. Like, the channel's going to be oversaturated with a couple of these videos. But that was way better for my mental health, where I'm not sitting here trying to rattle off about 41 games. And I'm sure that the edit's going to be a lot faster. So thank you. Thank you for putting up with that. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.